This is the last case I'll show you. It's a pretty large case. We spent most of the year doing it, and in fact, it started in the month that we had the fire. One of the clients that we'd worked on before, Times of India, came to us with a brief. I've never been scared of a brief in my life, but this was the one time I was scared. And it was the gutsiest initiative I've ever been part of. To be honest, when we started, I don't know if my clients are here, I never thought that they would go through with it. And they eventually did. And for a newspaper to stimulate the kind of debate this campaign stimulated not only shows guts, it also shows a very, very hard, strong, far-sighted look at the future. This campaign was started on the eve of the anniversary of the terror attacks in Mumbai, which we've all seen on primetime television. And when you're faced with a country of 1 billion people screaming for revenge and hatred and vindictiveness, in that sea of 1 billion people to come up with a contrarian voice and have the national newspaper actually have the words "Love Pakistan" and raise the whole question of why are we so uncomfortable with looking at these two words side by side in the same sentence. It speaks a lot for not only the power of advertising, it speaks a lot for what we have in our hands and what we can do. And I think for us, enough proof of the power of this campaign was that a lot of people hated or loved us for it because they actually thought this was our opinion and this was our soul speaking. We actually called a meeting of people in the office to ask them to keep personal sentiments aside and work on this as professionals. And it was a campaign that really shook the nation's beliefs to its core. And even today, even though it runs, it's still a campaign that actually has people now debating or arguing about the need for peace, as opposed to debating or arguing about the need for war. Can you play the video, please?
This is the story of two nations, born after a labor of violence, bloodshed, and hatred over 60 years ago. The first anniversary of the Mumbai terror attacks last year saw India-Pakistan hatred at its peak. With the subcontinent seething on the verge of a catastrophic confrontation, the Times of India joined hands with Pakistan's Jung Group in a historic first for a daring new initiative. The idea was to launch a courageous cross-border people-to-people movement through print, television, radio, internet, mass live events, and citizen activation. And this is how it unfolded. On 1st January 2010, the world's largest English newspaper put out possibly the most courageous front page in the history of Indian media. Love and Pakistan, after what happened in Mumbai? As an incredulous nation woke up to the audacity of those simple, brave words that stood defiantly against the jingoism of war, Aman Ki Asha was born.
Our Times of India initiative, Aman Ki Asha, aims at bridging the gap and bringing peace between India and Pakistan.
The start of a new year, it's also the start of a new, very different kind of initiative between the Times of India, which is India's most respected and largest media group, and Pakistan's largest, very influential media group, the Jung Group, both coming together to launch Aman Ki Asha.
Such a welcome thing that somebody else is doing with the whole of the country, which I was all the time wishing and doing it individually.
We have to, in this subcontinent, have to realize that we think and feel together.
Our cultures are so similar, we are almost the same people. Our language, what we eat, what we like.
4 वर्ड हैं. पहला दिल दिल हाँ खोलना फूल खिलते हैं गुलशन नहीं शाहरुख खान की पिक्चर है. दूसरा वर्ड दूसरा शर्माती है हीरोइन शर्माती है हीरोइन दुल्हन है चली जाती भाग जाते घोड़े पे भगा लेता हीरो का दिल दुल्हन जाना जाएंगे मिल गया. और मंजीत रेडियो स्टेशन को फोन लगा जल्दी.
ऑल इंडिया रेडियो एक फरमाइश है.
आप सुन रहे हैं ऑल इंडिया रेडियो का
नजर में रहते हो जब तुम नजर नहीं आते, ये सुर मिलाते हैं जब तुम इधर नहीं आते, ये सुर बुलाते हैं जब तुम इधर नहीं आते.
The Aman Ki Asha is an Indo-Pak peace project, a project which brings together the media, literatures, cultural personalities, thinkers, writers, all coming together in a different kind of interchange. The whole attempt is to make sure that people on both sides of the border look at the other side differently.
Almost immediately, online communities sprung up as media spaces were swamped with a burning debate about peace over irrational hatred. The growing response led to the Hope for Peace Music Festival, as legendary vocalists from Pakistan braved the fundamentalists to cross the border and perform with Indian artists on a common stage.
Several people, artists have always longed for peace, but now it's sort of seeing that there are many, many more people who desire and actually demand peace.
And soon a literary festival and a food festival saw eminent Pakistani writers, journalists and playwrights sharing the dais.
कि मेरे बाप ने भी मुझसे बिना पूछे मुझे पैदा क्यों किया था.
Meanwhile, a massive school activation program saw the next generation writing peace messages on handkerchiefs to create a chain stretching all the way from India to students in Pakistan. 200,000 plus handkerchiefs at last count. Today the movement has music and screen icons on both sides joining the cause. Massive editorial and PR worth over $2.5 million. Commendations by world governments. Cross-border business and trade conventions. Over 40 user-generated videos. Over 150 blogs. 5 large Facebook communities. 12 music festivals. 4 poetry and literature festivals. And 1 new hope for peace.